And welcome back to American Agenda. I'm Heather Childers along with Joe Pinion. Have you heard about this scathing new report that was commissioned by members of Congress? And it claims that the Navy's forces have systemic training and leadership issues, as the focus of diversity is causing some problems. Diversity training is overshadowing basic readiness skills. So the report includes a number of issues. We can take a look at those. Insufficient focus on warfighting skills, the perception of a zero defect mentality, a culture of micromanagement, and oversensitivity and responsiveness to modern media culture. This culture, by the way, the report claims, has led to the collision of 2 destroyers in the Pacific, the surrender of a smaller Navy craft to Iran in the Persian Gulf, and a devastating fire aboard the amphibious assault ship, the Bonhomme Richard. Let's bring in our panel to talk a little bit more about this. So, is the Navy more concerned about wokeness than war fighting? Derrick, I'll start with you this time.
You know, that's interesting. You know, I have my nephew and my brother-in-law both are serving in the Navy right now, and my nephew Donovan just got back on the Roosevelt, and so we get regular updates from them, and we don't hear all this negative stuff that's going on in the Navy. They both love it. Uncle Ryan, he's 25 plus years in the Navy, so it's just interesting. I think this is more of the media driving this story right now. Now, granted, I think we don't even hear about this diversity training and stuff when we talk to our relatives about this. So, I wonder if it's more the media driving this story and this narrative than anything else.
Well, Jesse, I'll come to you because, you know, we've seen the shift in the advertisements from everything from the Marines to the Navy, to the FBI, CIA. We've also seen in many ways it seems like a departure from a two-war doctrine at a time when we see a new axis of evil on the horizon: China, Iran, Russia, who all mean to do us harm, who have all inflicted some form of actual damage on America and our way of life. How do we get people to focus on the fact that if the military experts are telling us we're not ready, then their life is clearly in danger?
So it's not being driven by the media. I'm so sorry, because I just know for a fact that this diversity training has become so overwhelming that many people have felt that their only value is in the color of their skin. In fact, one of the female black lieutenants in the United States Navy who was interviewed simply said, it seems like their only value is on me being a black woman. Whereas when a missile hits a ship and splits us in 2, we all bleed the same color. This is impacting readiness because training on active duty takes up large swaths of time. So when you are doing it on intangible training, meaning things that you cannot touch, and it's about feelings and emotions and not about readiness and skill-based training, your pilot training, your time with artillery training, your time with focused on your missile training, your ship repair, all of these things accumulated. It takes from somewhere. I know this all too well by being at Marine Forces Pacific in Hawaii, how much time was applied to training. However, that training should be on overwhelming and destroying the enemy. This is causing a divisiveness among the military because now we are putting such emphasis upon race, on who needs to be promoted and accelerated because of their race versus those that should not be, that it creates a division. I never saw division among the races while I was on active duty, and it's so tragic. See now, this is their focus.
Yeah, Ash, I want to get to you because that non-essential training that Jesse Jane is talking about there were 77 different sailors who were interviewed for this report at different ranks and different jobs. And they all said that it's that non-essential training that leaves them simply overwhelmed, feeling overwhelmed and an inability to do the job that they're there to do.
Right. I mean, and of those 77, 94% of them said that the recent disasters that the Navy has seen with the ships out in the ocean has been because there's been too much diversity training. It sounds like corporate America inside of our military. Unlike the other 2 guests, I don't have a connection to the military, and I do want to thank Jesse for her service and Derrick, thank your sons for their service. But so I feel a little less of a voice on this than the other 2 guests, but I do think that it's important that what they're trying to to prevent, which is suicides, which is sex trafficking, rape in the military, things like that is good, but it cannot come at a point where it sacrifices our safety as a nation or other missions that we're on. And I just think it sounds like corporate America, and they just need to retract it a little bit, and everything will be fine.
Derrick, got about 30 seconds here for you. You know, there are always these voices on the left telling us we need to listen to those black faces in the pale places where there aren't a lot of black people present. And yet even in this report, we see that when black people are saying, hey, I'm more concerned about living and dying, they're not being listened to because it doesn't fit the narrative.
Well, you know, oftentimes we're not listened to, as you say, if it doesn't fit the narrative. But again, here, guys, like I said, I just referenced back to my nephew who just got back on the Roosevelt. He says, you know, all we do is train. You know, and so that we are combat ready. So again, I look at this story again, and I just want to go back to, you know, the media drives a lot of the narratives. And so this, like I said, he just got back on the Roosevelt from a 7-month tour. He said, all we did was train and be battle ready. And so now I do know there's a wokeness going on in the military and that kind of stuff. And, you know, we've had conversations about that, too. But I don't know if it's to the point where it's interfering with us being combat ready.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely disturbing, and hopefully it is, you know, the case of what you're saying, Derrick, but I know, Jesse Jane, from your firsthand experience, you say that it's not. Also, I just wanted to bring up this one, I think she was a top lieutenant who was quoted in the report. She's a black female, and she said, in her opinion, that it's criminal what's going on in the Navy and our armed forces. She said, they think my only value is a black woman, but you cut our ship open with a missile and we'll all bleed the same color.
We don't want to have to learn these lessons the hard way.
Yeah. Everyone stand by. Coming up, though, we're going to talk about some more, including our Olympic athletes who have been disrespecting our flag. We've all seen it. Well, now the Olympic Committee is mulling a plan to shrink the flag with fewer stars and less stripes. So why the redesign? We'll show you what they want to change it to and more when we continue with American Agenda.